You're listening to Living Free and Fulfilled. I'm Katie Bock, your host, a Gemini, yogi, intuitive spiritual guide who believes in the magic and the power, the wisdom that lives inside of you. And that's what this podcast is all about. I am on a mission to empower you to create a life that feels good for you, a life where you can live it your way. Tune in each week to hear from me, to meet new people as they're interviewed, as we share together tips, tools, practices, experiences that have guided us to create a life that feels good so that we can support you on your journey to live a life aligned with your soul as you plug back into yourself, rediscover your power, your inner wisdom, and the magic that truly flows throughout you. Are you ready to live free and fulfilled? A new episode starts now. Hey there, and welcome back to the podcast. It's Katie here, your host. And today I am joined by Jessica Beal, a life and business coach, social media strategist. And she is going to talk to us about creating financial freedom using social media if you are a business owner or if you're not. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Can you tell the listener a little bit more about yourself?
So I started in 2020 as a meditation practitioner. For 10 years before that, I was a wellness coach, specifically teaching people about the toxins in our products and helping people kind of get over the learning curve of essential oils and ditching toxins. So that's kind of where I started. And in 2020, I experienced a spiritual awakening that cracked my consciousness wide open to the kind of deceptions and way that I was perceiving reality to be not really true. And I started exploring meditation really deeply. But then over the course of 3 years, I published my first story, an Entangled No More with Katie, and that went international bestseller. And I have since added on a master's class program, which is the social media strategies geared towards spiritual and soul-led entrepreneurs, health practitioners. Because really, when you go to school and you learn meditation or healing modalities, you don't learn how to market. And so once I realized that I needed to invest in these things and learn these things and master these things, it just really made sense for me to share this wisdom alongside with what I was already doing. And, the mindset stuff really still comes into play, even when you're talking about manifestation and monetization and synchronizing your purpose with your passion.
Absolutely. I mean, our perception and our mindset is everything,
Yeah.
no matter what we're doing. And so if you are interested in Entangled No More, that was the book that both Jessica and I wrote a chapter in. We will link in the show notes below how you can grab a copy of Entangled No More. It is truly an amazing book. I don't know, Jessica, if you have gotten a chance to read through it, but there are so many beautiful stories there, inspiring, empowering stories in that book. Anyway, back to what we're talking about today. So as you kind of went through this spiritual awakening and this process of, shifting in this direction of monetizing and creating financial freedom for yourself and for, supporting others to create that as well using social media, how can or can you share with us how that kind of possible if you have a business or if you don't have a business?
Yeah. So most people view social media as just a networking platform. But the reality is that we have access to this technology and this software at the tip of our fingertips, and we can truly create, abundance through looking at our social media as our storefront. And it's like, gone are the days where you really have to have a brick and mortar business to sell something, right? When we really get into like profile optimization, clarity around your message, and like your soul's path, you can, like, the opportunities are almost limitless of what you can create online. And a lot of people think like, oh, I need like a large capital. That was a thing in the past that you really needed to, like, if you were going to start a brick and mortar business. But social media has kind of bridged that gap between who can be an entrepreneur and who can't. And it definitely does take like a certain kind of person and a certain kind of mindset. But the power of social media is so profound that, stay at home moms are now creating 6 and 7 figure businesses and like retiring their husbands. So, it's really, really incredible the time and like the paradigm shift that we're seeing right now, from just using social media as like a networking app or to connect with your family and friends to, something that is actually sustainable.
It's almost like the possibilities are endless, right? It's really
Yeah.
about what kind of aligns with you at this moment in time and what you want to do with it. And I think too, I just want to touch on for a second, you had mentioned selling, right? I think selling and sales sometimes feels icky for a lot
Hmm.
of us. I know I had to really walk through that ickiness for a while to get onto this other side of, it's not even about selling something. It's about, if there's a product that works really well for you, or if there's something that you offer that can really support someone, it's about sharing that, because there are people out there looking for that support, looking for the recommendations that you're going to offer. And there is nothing wrong with you sharing what is working for you, what has worked for you, supportive tools, practices, services, products, and also benefiting back from your share. Because what that does is it opens us up to kind of look at the highest good for all
Yeah.
instead of just the highest good for others or just for yourself. It gives this like open door to creating space for us all to receive the highest good.
Yeah. I really get it. Instead of looking at it as selling as I did in the beginning, now I see it as like service, right? And it's like, yes, the benefit is that you can be compensated, but most of us, especially if you are like a soul empath, you come to earth and you come to this timeline with this deep resonance to help, right? And
Yeah.
to make an impact and to give something back. And so when you're really sharing from a place of authenticity and integrity, it's like that the universe is just matching that vibration. And it happens to be that money is just an extension of our energy, right? And so that's kind of like a side effect of it, is that you're able to earn, but you're really serving. And so that's something that, I really fell in love with, is that, making that difference and like getting clients results. But I'm also being compensated for my divine work.
It's an energetic exchange, and it's an even energetic
Yeah.
exchange that also feels good for you, because when we're out of balance in those energetic exchanges, it doesn't feel good. And that's often when we
No.
kind of sink into those depressions or overwhelm and places like that, because we're giving so much energy and there's not an exchange of energy back. So,
Right.
how can someone kind of start to use social media to create this financial freedom? Like, what would you say the process is or the steps to kind of start doing something like that?
Yeah. Good question. So, a lot of people, when they're just getting started out, omnipresence can play a huge role. But when you're just getting started out, a lot of people feel like they need to be on every single platform all the time. I really teach my clients, just pick 1 to 2 platforms where you know your audience is hanging out, really show up consistently and master those for like a good year. Because, once you get one or two platforms built and hopefully monetized, then you can really, it's easy to repurpose content all around, to other platforms almost instantly. Another thing is that, you know, video is the most powerful tool that we have available to us. We actually, all of the universe is actually running off of sound resonance. Like physics can actually show us that even light creates sound. And so when we are, thinking about like showing up, it's actually your voice that is calling in your clients. Like I truly believe and teach that our clients and our dream soulmate avatar is actually coded to us through sound. And so like neuroscience and these big tech companies have kind of studied us, and they've discovered some things about us that um, you know, video outperforms Google SEO, paid ads, hashtags. It's like we no longer have to learn by sitting 8 weeks in a classroom. Like you can watch a video and you know something. And so when we're showing up consistently online using particularly short form and long form video, this is how simple it is. And so it really becomes just a matter of like what are your limiting beliefs around showing up? What are your limitations? Are you experiencing imposter syndrome? Are you experiencing perfectionism? That you believe that you need to look a certain way or have a certain amount of data or speak a certain way in order to sell. We're seeing creators make 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, and they're just showing up as themselves, right? They're not changing who they are. They're not, you know, doing anything but just being their authentic selves. I know one female entrepreneur, she just shares her how she budgets her food from like Aldi and the food pantry. Okay. She's a single mom. Her content is viral and she's in a messy bun. Like she's talking about shopping at the food pantry. And it's like the platform's paying her for that because that resonates with so many people and that resonates with her audience, you know? And so she was able to call that in for herself, just being exactly who she is authentically.
Absolutely. And when we step into being who we are, showing up as we are, if that's, you know, with makeup on and your hair done, or if that's in a messy bun and a t-shirt and sweatpants, or
Yep,
whatever it looks like for you, because I teeter totter between the two.
I do too.
Um, but whatever that looks like for you, when you are in that authentic moment, when you are authentically sharing, you know, who you are and these services, products, these things that really supported you that you're offering, you vibrate this energy that
Yeah,
is attracting, and you have an open heart to be out there in the world, which means you have an open energy field to also receive.
yeah, absolutely. I think
So,
that, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I think that, a lot of people feel like they could never do this or that, it's scary. And, that's just part of the process. Really showing up consistently. You can show up consistently as a burning dumpster fire and potentially still monetize on any of these platforms. And not only calling in clients, but the platforms will now pay you for content.
Absolutely. And so this really can be, using social media to create financial freedom can be used for someone who has a business, right? Who
Mhm.
has a service and they see clients, or um, someone who sells products, offers products, or it could be for someone who doesn't have a business, but they have a job and they just are looking to make a little bit of a side income
Yep.
to create a little bit more financial freedom, have a little bit of extra. It could be, social media could be used for anyone really to create
Mhm.
some more financial freedom in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Not even including my clients, Facebook pays me 1,200 to 5K a month right now. And that's like just projected to go up. That doesn't include who I serve privately. Um, so, it is. It's a very profound time that we're living in. And, it's not a saturated market. Something that comes through that I share my clients is to, like, maybe for those struggling, like, with what do I post, what do I talk about online, and maybe you're coming in as more of like an influencer brand than a business, sharing your unfair advantages, aka the stories that are unique to you, that cannot be replicated, that maybe you have some new insight on, or that you really struggled with. These are the stories that can really help bridge that gap and make a connection with others to where they're like, I really resonate with that. I went through a similar relationship or a similar failure, like sharing the good, the bad, the ugly. Of course, it's okay to still have private things. So I tell my clients, like, share things that are further away, right? You don't have to share the struggles that are like right up in your face still, that you maybe don't have clarity through or you haven't worked on. Share the things that are a little bit farther out that you now, are able to look through and look at with a fresh eye and understanding. And that can be a really great way to kind of get started on, like, what do I talk about? What do I share? It feels like sometimes everything has been said, but don't worry about if it's already been said, because your clients actually want to hear it from your unique voice, your unique sound resonance, and your unique perspective on the matter.
Absolutely. Your uniqueness, your authenticity, your voice is essential to be out there in the world. How could someone who is interested in this but would like to learn more, how could they connect with you to learn more about doing this?
They can come and find me on social media. We're working on a website right now, but I don't believe that you need it right away to get started selling. So I'm going into my second year of business, no email list, no website. So if you go to my profile, Jessica Louise, um, all the links to everything that I offer, my free groups, discovery calls, these are all going to be in my bio, in my Facebook profile. I also have the podcast Light Body Activation on Spotify and Anchor. So that's a great way to kind of sample my content, sample some of my teaching stuff. And we have kind of a free group for just about everything that we do. So we have a free meditation circle, a free monetization circle, and then I also have Jessica's book club where me and some of the authors of Entangled No More hang out, kind of share insights, talk about the book a little bit.
That's awesome. We'll make sure to put some links in the show notes so that listener, you can connect with Jessica further if you would like. And thanks for being here, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing this information. I think it's really great information to put out there, talking about financial freedom and creating it in a way that can be simple. And it doesn't have to take a ton of hours, a ton of time, but
Yeah.
it's simple and it's something that can just be what feels authentic to you and unique to you and sharing it. And I think it needs to be out there, right?
Yeah,
So,
even just showing up, you guys, like 15, 30 minutes a day in the beginning is like, you don't have to be on social media all day. Just, couple of things, showing up consistently, staying true to who you are, and like really sharing those light codes of, your unfair advantages. And like, that's really just the key to it.
for sure. Absolutely. So, listener, let us know. Tag us in a post or a story. Let us know you're listening. Let us know if you have more questions for Jessica. And thanks for being here, Jessica. Thanks for pressing play, listener, and showing up. Always grateful to you for being here. And I will meet you back here next week with another episode.